Hello, hello, beautiful, gorgeous angels. I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit, my intuition, and the tarot to communicate energies to you guys. Amazing, beautiful viewers. I love you guys very much. And if you're new to this channel, I'm so glad you found me. And for those of you guys returning, I am so blessed to be doing your reading again today. I sure hope these messages resonate for all of you guys. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading, we'll be looking at how you're feeling and the honest truth in regards to why you feel the way you feel, okay? And sometimes we might think we feel a certain way because of a certain thing, and we might not be seeing the reality in which we're feeling the way we're feeling, okay? And this could be because certain things are in our shadow, and it's a shadow for a reason, in the subconscious. So when we tuck things in the shadow, when we're unaware of things, there's a good reason it goes in there, because it's too painful, or just we don't want to deal with certain things. It could be traumas of the past, which were very, very painful, and the body just naturally, organically tucked away any sort of energy that was too painful. So in saying all of this, we may or may not be prepared to see your own shadow, okay? And that's absolutely fine. No one's going to force you to do this. My videos are always intended to provide healing, and healing is not always easy. Sometimes healing is discomfort, but this isn't to provide any sort of pain. And in fact, if we don't resonate, it doesn't feel right, doesn't feel like the right time, there's no need to force anything or to continue listening, okay? These are for those of you guys who absolutely know you're resonating with the energy that I'm tapped into, and you're prepared to look at your own sort of shadow, and maybe there's nothing in the shadow. Maybe you're 100%, revealing your own subconscious energies and trying to transmute energies, and this might provide further information on how we could do this. So in saying all that, I don't know what we're going to see, and my job is to communicate exactly as I see the cards, as gracefully and as respectfully as I can, although I do not control what I see. And it will be delivered exactly as it's meant to come out for whoever needs to hear it, even if it's just one person. That's absolutely fine, okay? So with all that out of the way, we have three options to choose from: how you're feeling and the honest truth in regards to why you feel the way you feel. Three options, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull one of these, and these are the Intuition Oracle for each of these, okay? So if you're already sort of tapped into any one of these piles, that's absolutely fine. I'll put the timestamp in the description box below. You can go straight away to your pile. If you are pulled to multiple, that's fine too. That just means there might be multiple aspects here, okay? That's absolutely okay. And if you go in there and it doesn't sound right, it's absolutely okay to leave that, okay? So up to you. We'll pull 3 for each of these as well, for those of you guys wanting a little bit more, to see what you're sort of feeling here and the honest truth in regards to why, okay? So for option 1 here, Spirit, can we get a card here to further clarify for pile 1 their feelings and the honest truth as to why they're feeling the way they're feeling? Thank you so much, Spirits. So we got your card right here. This is the, well, I won't read the back side just yet, but take a look at it. Take a look at this for option 1. I'll put these sort of together here for you. Option number 2, oh, your card's right here. Option number 2, okay, skedaddle that over, and then I think I could probably move this a little more over so we have enough space. Option number 3, for pile 3, Spirits, their honest feelings here. We have this card right here. Okay, so I want to make sure that we are in frame. Oh, look at that. Alrighty, so with this energy, beautiful people, okay, and use your intuition, what you will see, feel, or hear throughout the reading to determine whether the messaging is right for you. Only you can do this, and I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, hello, beautiful, gorgeous pile number one. What have you picked? Well, you guys picked the lapis lazuli stone and this card right here, which is the actor card for your pick. And before we get into this energy, well, what are we doing? Well, if you skip the intro, we're looking at your feelings and we're looking at the honest truth behind these feelings. Why it is maybe you're feeling the way you're feeling. So you might have no idea why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and this might provide you some clarity, or you might believe a certain understanding you might have of why you feel the way you feel, and this can reveal further truths. And I did issue a trigger warning at the beginning because sometimes we tuck things we don't want to see in our subconscious in the shadow, okay, for a very good reason. Either we're not prepared to see it, or we've just been traumatized in the past, and so therefore we don't see it. Therefore, that's why it's in the shadow. So only you know whether you're prepared and ready to sort of navigate through this. It's called doing shadow work, providing healing, and healing isn't always comfortable, nor is it feel good all the time, So these are readings really for those of you guys really in tune with your intuition and really working on shadow. And if it doesn't resonate, don't force it to fit, okay? But I'm asking for further information to help you sort of navigate through your feelings and uncover whatever you're needing to in order to progress and ascend and move on and heal whatever it is that you're wanting to heal, or just confirm, validate, support, and allow you to connect better with your intuition and with the divine. Whatever the reasoning is, I pass no judgment, nor am I giving any of my opinion. This is solely reading cards and energy, okay? So option one, let's see what we have here. I will be laying out these cards, which I've not looked at. And this is just energy here that I asked the exact same way when I pulled this card is how is pile one feeling, and the honest truth in regards to why they're feeling the way they're feeling. And so we'll reveal these, and I do ask you use your intuition, what you will see, feel, or hear to determine whether it sits right. So let's read first this lapis lazuli, and then we'll read this actor card and see what it is that it's saying here. So lapis lazuli says royalty, transformation, and immortality. Regal in all forms, lapis lazuli was most prized and sought after in ancient Egypt, when it was believed to have powers of immortality and the ability to expand the heart's capacity for love. Lapis lazuli guides the soul and protects its journey from life to death. True wisdom comes from within, and lapis lazuli facilitates that by unearthing your core truths. This stone appears when you are ready for spiritual transformation and takes you to the depths of who you are, unveiling deeper awareness so that you can become the leader of your own life. Sagittarius and Venus. It's so interesting because I did not read these. I pulled them the exact same way just from looking at the image. In fact, I had no idea this was lapis lazuli, although I do have quite a bit of lapis, but this one has quite a bit of red. But this is exactly why I'm doing this reading. Like everyone's kind of in their own place in healing, but it's really wherever we're at, it's sort of working with our own energy in order for us to uncover the depths of who we truly are. And so I feel like for this group, we'll look at this, but I'm feeling already this is a spiritual awakening, which is a process in itself where we shed a lot of our beliefs, our ego self or false self. So we saw the actor, which is the story, the narration that we believe. Either we are carrying a certain value, tradition that's been a part of our upbringing, or we just don't even realize it's integrated into our everyday. And so therefore it is sort of a shadow. And this is about us really examining the self behind that, the true form of who you are, which is a huge transformation process, and it requires the death of the false self, in order for us to tap into the pure self here. And with Venus, I feel like this is giving me sort of more egoic, what we see, surface stuff. And with actor here, this is also giving me ego stuff. So either you could not know exactly at all, and maybe this is why you clicked here, is like, I have no idea, but I just feel completely different what's going on here with me. You know, you might not even know what's ego and what's not. You might be at a very early stage here and completely upside down. Or you could have been already on this sort of journey of identifying your own false self, your own egoic constructs and beliefs here, okay? But whatever it is, this is really, really a spiritual pile here. And with actor, it says affirmation, I know how to act properly and wisely in this situation. So the best catalyst in us reflecting back to us, mirrors, you know, that reflect back to us, is through relationship. Okay, like how we are in relationship with everything and everyone, because everything and everyone is in relationship, as I always mention here. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be another person that we're intimately involved with. It's all relationships, you know, relationship with our family or friends or co-workers, and how we're in relationship with food, our addictions, our habits, that sort of thing. And so I feel like there's a good look here at all relationship, and it could have been triggered by something in your world. Okay, whatever the triggering is, there could be one area that is very prevalent going on right now that has your attention, although the bigger underlying shift of change here is really deeper than whatever it is that you're sort of focused on. So for example, you know, maybe we have a connection or a relationship with someone in our world that we've been struggling with, or that has highlighted a certain part of ourself. And so we're really preoccupied in that sort of space. But really beneath the surface, this ties into your true self and how you connect to everything and everyone. Opening heart space, you know, really learning about loving from an open heart rather than maybe how we in the past connected to love. And when I say love, I'm not necessarily talking about intimate romantic relationships so much as the true connection in relationship coming from heart space rather than from a construct belief or the ego or the mind or the false self. Okay, so that was very deep. That might be all that you're needing to hear. I don't know. Let's see, because maybe you already know all this stuff, but maybe we're right early at the stage and that made no sense. So I hope you're still here, because this will help you to see a little bit better into what's going on here. Okay, so we have poised, 48. So this is number 12. Okay, poised. She's kind of opening her arms up to the heavens. So if you guys want, you can certainly click on the timestamp to go straight away to your reading here. But like I always mention, if you're tapping into your intuition, this is the process to get to feel, see, and understand. I say feel, but feel with your intuition here, whether you connect, okay? Surrender to silence in quiet meditation or contemplation. Let go and enter the stillness within you. Silence can heal and replenish you. Wow, poised silence. I'm getting a heavy like meditation here going within, hermit energy. Envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Okay. Why do we have another one? We have another one, you guys. I honestly had no idea you guys had two. Wow. Okay. This is interesting. Look at this. We have rhodonite, compassion, yin yang. Oh my goodness. Fertility. Rhodonite is a stone of brotherly love, the shared connection between all of humanity. Oh my goodness. Equilibrium is a key for this crystal, which has the capacity to calibrate emotions, balance the yin and yang. That's masculine, feminine as well. And source energy from a grounded place. It can bring light to emotional scars from the past, transforming them to foster a stable, everyday life. Rhodonite helps remove blame from the situation. Okay, whether it's pointed at you or someone else, accept the situation for what it is and learn to forgive yourself with love and compassion in the process. Taurus and Mars, and Taurus is Empress energy. Mars is Emperor energy. Wow, masculine, feminine. Emperor, Empress is feeling a relationship, although, like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship. It's masculine, feminine. It's the duality, the dichotomy, the polarity here that we're learning to balance here within self. Wowzers. Okay, so we have align, yes. You're being asked to align with your current situation, even if it's not easy to do so. Trust that there is much to be learned by being here. Pushing against what is will only makes things harder on you. Align, surrender, trust. Yes, I know when we always hear surrender, it's difficult, you know. So maybe this is on how we can work better. Yeah, allow. You're being asked to open your energy field and take down your walls of protection in order to allow goodness into your life. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we block ourselves from the flow of life. It's safe to open yourself back up. Okay, and we have root chakra. The frequency of root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as in the physical world. So getting the groundedness again pulling through. The rhodonite. Okay, and then we have extraordinary. Look at that peacock. And like I always say, peacock is about our truest expression, but it also, to me, sometimes pulls through egoic things here. Okay, and with Venus as well. And why was I tapped into Venus? Oh yeah, I was under this one, right? Yeah, Venus. This is also, like I said, ego energy pulling through. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. Okie dokie. And we have faith, beautiful, with all the purple. This is connecting to a higher source, the divine. You know, when we connect to our purest conscious self, we connect to the divine, our truest self. Here's anxiety. This is 9 swords. This is us, you know, maybe being in our mind and not too sure about why. We might have repetitive thoughts or a lot of beliefs that are still sort of trapped here. It's also dark night of the soul type stuff, which comes with a spiritual awakening here. It rocks our core and might leave us feeling very ungrounded here. Confidence. Okay, so this is us sort of trusting our own self, but also trusting the divine. And maybe we're learning to trust our own intuition, our own sort of feelings. Again, I just heard. Okay, so we have Mercury and Saturn, 24, or the number 6. So here we have Gemini, Virgo, and Capricorn, and Aquarius energy pulling through. I feel there's a lot of mind chatter, a lot of narrated things here that we're carrying. Either we tell ourselves or we still believe in. And so we're putting a lot of weight on ourselves. I think there's a lot of judgment here on yourself here that I feel doesn't necessarily need to be there. 5th house with passion. Wow, look at this. This is about romance, love, affairs, okay, creativity, fertility, childlike spirit. So it could be inner child, which definitely comes out when we're uncovering these things. Self-expression, joy. 43, or the number 7. 43 could be a significant number here. Could be your age. Okay. We have the 5th chakra with the throat, which I was getting expression with the peacock here. Self-expression. The throat chakra also connects to how well we intake energy, like the expression of others, how we're able to filter this information and make sense of it, and also to be able to express. It's kind of like a two-way system here. Okay, and then we have mystery giving me that purple energy with the high priestess energy and the intuition, and we see the moon, feminine energy, or emotions, or subconscious, trusting things we can't see necessarily, or maybe a lot of anxiety in the things we can't quite see just yet or understand because we haven't built the confidence and trust in self or the divine. So we have Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold, number 4. Wow, confidence again. And 4 is all about the stability and the structure. 4th house is about home, family, self-care, our emotions, building the foundation. Mother, femininity, women, which we were getting a lot with the moon and Taurus energy. Divine feminine. So here we have the quest, which certainly could be the spiritual quest, you know, or the hermit's journey, a journey of sorts, with the blue throat chakra and the inner child self-expression of the truest self coming through. Wow. Impatience. So again, with the blue, lots coming through with the throat chakra now, being able to express the authentic self here. And the impatience could be what's causing this sort of anxiety here. And impatience is potentially caused by the inner critic, you know, us judging self here, having some sort of belief that we're need to be in a certain place or have a certain understanding. But that's all carried judgment. It doesn't necessarily need to be there. And here we have service with the orange ray, and this is sacral. So a lot of the traumas we carry, you know, blocks in the chakras, or in the lower chakra specifically with sacral, it's how to be intimate and how to connect, you know, in a place of trust, and connect to our sensuality and be vulnerable. And with service here, it's I feel like it's service to self in some way here, like to actually be able to do what we need to for self, so we could be there sort of for others. Now, let me tap into this. It was very clear, but I'm going to tap in. I don't feel this one, nor this one. And you can go ahead and click on the timestamp to take you to the reading here, okay? I want to make sure you're in frame. Okay. Okay, it is really clear, and if you didn't follow the card layout, you might want to, because it pretty much breaks it down, you know, and a lot of this might be just repeat, but I'll put it together in a nice little bow, I guess, as best I can, and see what else sort of channels through. But beautiful souls, I feel you're really going through a spiritual awakening here, and it could be very, very scary, you know, especially when we go through dark night of the soul, because it's certain parts of ourself that we attach to the story of who we are, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, all it's saying is you're in the percent of people here who don't even get this far in recognizing a part of self that is sort of created through construct of society and upbringing and beliefs and traditions that make us carry these stories of self, and we can feed this, and then we lose who we truly are. Okay, so this is really one of connecting who you truly are. So I feel kind of like you are removed, you know, you're removed here, but it's for a very good reason. And if you're kind of upside down and in your energy's removed, but maybe there's still could be a lot of people around you, but inside, you know, there's something going on. You can't connect, you're disconnected here. There's a reason. There's a need to sort of you know, like, obviously this is a tarot reading and this isn't going to be everyone's message, so you do what's right for you, okay? But what I'm seeing here is the value in doing what we need to do to pull ourselves back as best we can in order for us to get still, meditate, get grounded, centered, so that we can really not put pressure on ourselves and allow what comes sort of come, so we can take the next step in our world. And this takes time, you know, and some of us might be fortunate to take, you know, years off for a retreat, which might help, you know, and some of us are fortunate enough to be able to do this without changing our physical world at all. I don't know what state you're in, but there's a need to not resist and allow the process to happen. And maybe you're just trying to understand what this feeling is, you know, and so I feel like it'll be challenging and difficult if we try to resist or put any sort of expectation or judgment that we're either going crazy or there's something wrong with us, or that what will happen and this sort of thing. But this process is really aligning you to have faith and trust in something bigger than yourself, like the divine. Okay, you're watching a tarot reading. You believe in something greater than yourself, God, spirit, source. Okay, and it runs through all of us. We are the creator expression of God. So within us, there is that pure God, okay? Every one of us is like the sun, all the rays, and each one of us is the ray of sun here, Okay, the ray of sun. And so we're this expression of God that comes through. And so if we are compiling a bunch of stories, experiences, and programming on top of this sunlight, it's like particles in a room. It's contaminated with each thought and each belief and each thing. Okay, and the ray of light is the sunlight. It's always there. It's pure, and it highlights these particles. And so in the nighttime and the darkness, when the light is off, when the sun's not there, we don't see all those particles, but they're still sort of there. Okay, and it's like someone turns the light on, or now all of a sudden the blinds are open, and so this ray of light, which was always there within you, always there, it now is revealing to you these particles, and you see them. You can no longer unsee them. You see them floating around, the impurities, I guess, if you will, the programming, the beliefs, the impure thoughts, all these things. Okay, and so we sit there, and our job is really to understand that these experiences have happened to us, and we make space between the experience and our own my dog is barking. I think someone might be at the door. I'm gonna be right back, okay? Hello, amazing people. Look what I got. And they're tarot cards. I do feel as though you have a tarot pack here that I am being called to use, which is probably why I was pulled to the door, which is so interesting, because when we go through our spiritual awakening, such interesting things happen. And so, I mean, it's not very interesting, someone knocked on my door, but the fact that I got my cards exactly as I was doing your reading, I think is symbolic of something here coming in, and it's new cards, so I can do a fresh sort of reading. I was going to use these for you, but I don't know. I think I'm going to use a new pack, and I'll do that sort of off film here just to get it ready and save time for you guys. But or maybe I'll put a timestamp, and those of you guys can watch me sort of open it so you can tie into this beautiful energy. So, like I was saying, yeah, I do apologize about that. So the ray of light, we see the particles, okay? And these particles are not very evident to us. So we can't sort of pass judgment, or our sort of first instinct, I guess, which is the programming, is to try to make sense. Make sense of these particles of impurity, or I'll bring it back to reality here. Like we try to justify and put stories to certain ways of being, and try to logically explain certain things for ourselves so that we could be okay, But when we go through this spiritual awakening and this dark night of the soul, the truest self, that ray of light, knows a pure truth that no sort of mortal brain or human mind is going to be able to put into words or understanding, because the divine is beyond all sort of comprehension here of the mind. Okay, this is like an inner knowing. How do you connect back to miracles and divine energy here? This is more of a feeling and a connection. So you're aligning to the divine. You're aligning to your purest self. And I feel like the uneasiness here is created by having judgment, by holding on to certain beliefs or stories that we have to be a certain way or should be in a certain place. Okay, so everyone sort of goes through this process of self-discovery at their own pace. And so what you need to know will become apparent to you when you need to know it. The right teacher will become apparent to you when the right teacher should appear. But the best sort of experience is always the one that we have within our own selves, like what we go through and understand and feel. So if you feel like you are seeking, like maybe we're seeking more information, or we are latching on to whatever, tarot readers, or that someone's going to provide us with the information in order to get the answer and the peace that we need, and this sort of thing. Spirit is saying that the truest answer, the peace, the place you're going to find it is within yourself. Okay, like I am no more and any sort of different energy than you when it comes to the pure conscious self, because I'm connected back to source, and so are you. So your truest self is within you here. There is no need to seek out any sort of book knowledge here, okay? Like, this is just about you allowing yourself to be what you are at the pace in which you are, which comes to you through reflection and self-inquiry, through meditation, okay? And when I say meditation, that could be for you whatever it is. If you don't meditate, like sit there like a Buddha, maybe you meditate when you walk, maybe when you listen to music, maybe when you sort of calm the mind here and allow yourself to turn off the thoughts of whatever you're engaged with. Because I do feel you're engaged in a relationship here, or something that is looking like the surface reason, okay? Or maybe it was the catalyst reason, like I mentioned, the catalyst that triggered us into this sort of energy, okay? And many relationships will do this to us. They'll hold up a mirror, okay? And so I feel like we might be kicking back to the thing, you know, that relationship or that experience or that thing, and Spirit is saying there's something deeper here going on with you that transcends beyond this person or this experience. And so when we allow whatever is happening here, but are more allowing ourselves to sort of sit with the self here, you know, to see ourselves differently and allow ourselves to sort of see all the particles, but also know we're this beautiful ray of light here. And we start to find and align or balance. We know that we have ego. And so we start to see it. We don't judge it. We don't think, okay, I'm just going to, now that I see it, get rid of it or turn it off. Because this is a process. It is a process. And so I feel like a first step of being aware of the things maybe that we couldn't see before, and just seeing it and observing it is now us shining that sunlight, you know, or before it was dark. And so when we shine the light, we can no longer call it the subconscious and the shadow. This is shadow work. It is now visible. And so we might be saying, okay, well, you know, I don't like what I see here, or I'm still doing it, or, you know, we have that expectation. And what Spirit is saying is just allow yourself to see and become the observer of this. That particle is not you. It's been something constructed over time, thoughts and stories and beliefs here. And so eventually, because we've brought it to light, we start to energetically move away from that energy. We no longer hang on to those stories. They fall away. You know, we don't force them to fall. We don't expect them to fall. We see them. We understand that they were there to do whatever they were supposed to do. We feel grateful to have the experience of being able to see them. And we know that they're going to be something that we pass no judgment on, and they will slowly start to sort of settle. Okay, they'll slowly start to settle in a way that no longer becomes in the shadow or a trauma or dictating or driving our programming, because we're now shining the light of awareness. Okay, this takes time. It's not overnight. It's not, oh, I know I'm whatever. Let's say we have a difficult time because we are triggered to get angry very quickly. Let's just say that's our thing. And so we see ourselves repeating this sort of emotional triggering, you know. But as long as we're seeing this about self, we start to, bit by bit, recognize when we're in that energy. And so first we recognize after it's happened, and we could beat ourselves up. Shoot, like, I don't want to be triggered like this. Why am I triggered like this, right? Why? Or inquiring, self-inquiry. And then the next few times, again, it's happened. But now we start to catch ourselves in the middle, you know, in the middle of the triggering. And it's like, I'm about to, you know, like, do what I always do here. And so we pull it back. And then the next few times we recognize, before we even get triggered at all, that I'm about to get triggered, or I could choose to get triggered here. So I'm very aware here. And eventually the triggering subsides and we no longer even feel the need to get triggered. Okay, because when we're triggered, it's not the internal clock saying, hey, like, you know, this is for sure something that's going to be dangerous. This is ego. And ego is a creation here that thinks there's an apparent sort of danger happening. Okay, so it tries to flag you, but it's an illusion of danger here. And so when we know that the ego story is trying to alert us, but the story that the ego is trying to sell us is not necessarily true, and we, with the true self, create space between us and the ego, we can now question that. We question it and we say, hey, is this true? Is what am I triggering telling me actually a truth, or is this something that I'm used to doing based on a trauma? I usually get very jealous, very easily jealous, and now it's like, is there some sort of trauma in the past here that now when I'm in any situation here that resembles this trauma, it triggers this PTSD sort of thing within me. Okay, so we start to notice earlier and earlier. So I feel like we're doing this type of stuff here. Okay, and it's going to take some time. And it's going to take self-inquiry, and it's going to take us being very honest with ourselves and our situation. And the honesty is sometimes we don't see it all, and that's okay. Like, I think we got to be honest and say, if I don't see all my shadow, if I don't see all my programming today, that's okay. It will come. And we ask, please allow me, divine, to see where I want to see. And you don't have to see it. If you don't want to see it, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to do this work. But I feel like you're going through this shift, and it's uncomfortable when we don't know what's going on here. And so if we want to work with it, we allow it, and it's okay to just be, to not even have to do the shadow work if we just want to sort of be. But I feel like there's a lot of chaos here in what's happening because we don't know what's happening. And so this is what's happening. And so we can now understand it to be the process, and we can either work with it, or we could just sort of let it unfold, which is also just absolutely fine. It's working with it. But I feel like we should not be in resistance of it. Okay, so we allow, it starts to align, we start to get grounded, and we start to come out more in regards to our self truest expression. We no longer try to be living this inauthentic life, an inauthentic life that we might have lived in the past that might have served us, or that people understand us to be in this way. But the more we look at self, we're like, that I don't even resonate with those people or that thing anymore. And so the truest self is coming through now. And also the people around us, like I said, it's about intaking, not just what it is that we can express outward, but intaking. It's like these people, this energy coming in either resonates with me or doesn't. And so now we see the particles in other people even more apparent. We know when other people are in programming, and it becomes apparent as well. So the people we might have clicked with or been on the same sort of energetic vibe with starts to shift, because now all we see are the particles. We're blessed with seeing particles, but at the same time, it's like, is ignorance bliss? When we're not seeing it, we just sort of blindly, we're in the matrix. I feel like now we're no longer blind here, and I feel like with this passion of the fifth house, I was seeing 4 here, which is about home and our family, our emotions. With this passion, I'm getting creative energy here to either create an environment with our soul family, like really align ourselves with who and what is supposed to be around us and what we're supposed to be doing. Because you're misaligned right now in your world, it's shifting to align you with the people and the creation of something that's more in line with your authentic self. This is why this is happening. Okay, and so the more we sort of cling on to who we were or how we think we're supposed to be based on an understanding and comparing ourselves to other people or other spiritual beings, or maybe just our old self or other people around us, we'll forever feel confined or restricted or contracted in our energy. But when we accept, understand that what's sort of unfolding here is okay. It could be scary for sure, but it is okay. It is understood, and so we allow this process to happen. It sort of transitions beautifully, and we go through this sort of journey, and we uncover a lot of the inner child self here that was traumatized or was silenced, or we weren't able to sort of work with or accept or hold from self. And so it hid from us, you know, because it didn't feel safe, or it wasn't welcomed, or for whatever reason it was silenced. And so the more this inner child comes out, we connect to this self that's always been there. Okay, but for some of you guys, maybe we're very impatient with this process because it's discomforting when the outside world is still not aligned, or the people are still annoying as hell, you know, because now we see their particles, or where we're just annoyed with ourselves because there's an expectation to be or do something else, you know. But I feel like your whole foundation is being rocked here, because it's not just about this relationship or this situation. It's so beyond that. It's rocking your world, your foundation, you know, like where are you energetically spending your time, and who you're committing to and dedicating your energy to, what you do with all your creative energy, what are you bringing to this world. Like, it's so layered here. It really is. But we cannot sort of jump the gun to this sort of understanding of a future outcome. We let it unfold as it does, because if we are impatient with the process, we're kind of missing the quest altogether here. But I feel like the best thing you can do is be of service to self in this moment. So if we feel like we need to do something for someone else, like, of course, if you have the feeling, then do what you need. But I feel like you're not prepared just yet to be, you know, delivering service to other people here, because there's still an understanding and a healing taking place within yourself. And so sometimes we jump the gun, you know, we want to be of service to others. That's beautiful, you know, that's beautiful energy. But when we're not healed or understand certain things, we might be passing on information, or just not helping in a way that we might think we're doing. It could be that we need to uncover some more here, you know, uncover some more here, and then be able to share what we know with others, you know. So I feel like it's still early to share what we know with others, or for those of you guys who have been on this journey and already sort of, you know, this is more passing energy, then it is time. It's time for you to sort of pass what you know. And this is why it sort of happened. You're raising the vibration and the light on earth, so you can communicate to this sort of energy to those that are also going through this, you know. So I think it's beautiful energy, but I feel like a lot of who I'm reading for are still kind of going through this process. And so we don't need to put the pressure and jump the gun here. You know, I got to do something better. Like, this is why I'm being called. Like, yes, you're being called for sure. But the calling now is to focus on self. The calling now is to be silent. Calling now is to get grounded. Calling now is to uncover this part of self that makes a lot of space between you and the ego and the particles of programming. And when we can now stop ourselves when we're about to go into program or trigger, you know, we stop ourselves because we see it. We now know we've done some shadow work. We now know we're sort of understanding ourselves a bit better here. Okay, so beautiful energy, because this is an awakening. So I did promise the tarot, and I think I'm going to put a timestamp here, because I want to open both boxes, and then we're going to pick them and see which pack we're going to use for your reading, because I do want to just do a tarot, even though I do feel this reading is complete. If you feel done, then you're done, but I do want to pull some tarot. It's going to be exciting, and I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, beautiful angels. So we have 6 decks to use from, and I know which ones I was really called to use, and so I don't know whichever one you guys kind of are pulled to here, but I will use the one that's kind of pulling through. But I want to show you all my decks, and normally I open them, you know, on video here for you guys in my playlist, so you can connect with the energy. So we're going to open them and go through, not each of the cards, but we're going to go through doing what message you're needing to know in regards to your messaging. But I did want to show you these, because you are the very, very first group here to see these. I have not showed these to anyone, and I just literally opened the box. And so I'm super excited to do your reading with the Lucid Minds Tarot. And so I'm going to open the pack. If you guys are interested in seeing all of those, I will be revealing them. Of course, these are the only ones that aren't sealed. All the other ones were sealed. I swear to God, I did not open these. That's interesting. I even have my handy tool so I can open this pack. But okay, not opened. Not opened at all. And I don't know why we're starting with the High Priestess. Interesting. So I can't wait to use these. I do hope they're all here. Why are we starting with High Priestess? Do we have even a Magician here? Sorry, guys. I really, I'm sort of doubting now. See, look at this. Is the energy we had. We're doubting where we're being led, right? The world, let's see. I don't see any Magician. And I'm not understanding. Am I? Look at that. There's no Magician here. There's no Fool. Well, I'm not happy about this. Oh, the wind in my sails. I am going to use these, but I'm not happy. Ah, look at that. Trust in the divine. They were there. It's interesting why these were here. The Magician, the manifestation, and this is all about bringing from the ethers, okay? This is like bringing into the 3D world our manifestation of something here in divine timing, having everything we need to create our manifestation. And this is all about trusting the universe, you know, allowing it to unfold as it does, like a child would, being innocent. So it's interesting. Those were the ones that were sort of hidden here because I feel like you're going to manifest something. And I feel like you haven't been able to, or it just feels like you cannot. And your energy isn't really at the state here, I feel, of it being ready with the timing, with the Magician. You know, you like to have everything you sort of need to align. It's there, but we need to be able to see it and connect with it in a way here. So let's shuffle these. And we're going to ask for this messaging to come through. And I will give it a little bit of a good shuffle here just because it is... brand new and they're sort of in order here, so I apologize for those of you guys who had to sit through that, me freaking out that I was missing the Magician and the Fool. And I also don't necessarily like that these weren't sealed, you know. I don't know, I don't generally use any cards that are open, but I have ordered many, and a few times I've received ones that were just not sealed, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but they do feel new. So, let's see. Spirit, clear and concise message here for the greatest and highest good of pile 1, who has been so patient. And what is it exactly here of how they're feeling and the truth of what they're needing to know right here, right now. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Thank you so much. And of course, pile 1, thank you so much for allowing me to channel for you and to tap into your energy. I am so blessed to be here. And we'll give it a little bit more of a shuffle here just because, like I said, they are new. I'll do the cut again. The shuffle. Okay, so what is it exactly pile 1 is needing to know about their feelings and the honest truth about how they're feeling and anything they're needing to know right here, right now that I might have missed. Thank you, Spirit, for this beautiful message. Fill it again. So with the service and this 5th house passion, you are going to create something here, 100%. And I feel like it is your truest expression, like you being on your path of creation, what you were to serve here in the world, you know, and I feel like we cannot rush it. And I feel like you guys might be trying to get there. You know, for some of you guys, you're just really knee deep in this sort of spiritual awakening and not sure why it's happening. And you're not even thinking about the creative sort of process here. But what Spirit is saying is you're laying this foundation. This whole process, trusting the divine, connecting to maybe your spiritual gifts, you know, your intuition, building the confidence here. There's something here you're creating. This is the cornerstone or the foundation. in which you're needing to sort of go through, because you're going to be providing, and for a lot of you guys, it could be in the spiritual realm, something with your psychic gifts, service to others, you know, and we don't all have to become tarot readers so much as something here you're providing, you know, to others. And it's also providing this sort of healing to the world, because we're raising the vibration as we wake up. You know, we're waking up from the matrix where our energy is sort of on a higher level, you know, on a higher level here of energetic frequency. And so just like popcorn, the more awakened souls, the more we awaken other souls, and so on and so forth. So this is sort of what's happening here. That's the journey you're on here. So 9 swords right beside the anxiety. Okay, so 9 swords, where I feel going through the dark night of the soul. And swords is all about mind. Okay, and so I think what we need to hear here is the mind is really the biggest challenge when we go through a spiritual awakening or a dark night of the soul. Because it starts to really talk to us in a way that might create doubt, and we're not sure what's sort of real, you know, and it creates the resistance. And so we can't just silence our thoughts. And so there might be a lot of pressure in, how do I just silence them, you know? But what you resist persists. So Spirit is saying, allow the thoughts to come, but no, that the thought is just a thought. And you aren't sort of the creator of the thought. The thought is coming through you. So even if it's a bad thought, a thought you don't want to have, or a thought that seems skewed, or whatever the thought is, we don't attach ourselves to the creator of the thought, or that we need to take accountability, responsibility so much for the thought. But we witness the thought, we observe the thought, we don't judge ourselves for having the thought. We sit with it, but we don't feed it. Because if we energetically, emotionally feed the thought, that's where we start to feel very ungrounded. You know, so it's like, oh, I'm a horrible person. Let's just say, if this is the thought, you know, I'm a loser. I'm a person here who's not aligned and all this. And then we start to think that thought, and we feed it, and we start to feel bad, and then we feed it some more, and this is why, and this. So we see the thought come up, and we know we're the ray of sunshine, or from the divine. How can we be a loser? That means God's a loser. And we know we're not. We're a ray of sun here, okay? We're part of the divine. And so the thought comes up, oh, I'm a loser here. Okay, thought. I know you're trying to help protect me in a way here. You know, you're concerned. You're making me feel like there's something to fear, because there's fear here in what's happening to me. And so I'll let this thought come and go, but I will not feed it, because I know of a greater truth. We're requalifying all these thoughts that come in. Okay, so the best way to do this is when we energetically feel low. If we energetically are feeling something that doesn't feel right, we know it stemmed from a thought that isn't right. Okay, so we don't fight and suppress and resist. We see the thought, and we don't feed it, and we let it sort of go, and eventually the thoughts sort of quiet down, because we know it's not real. The ego stops to try to trick us in that way. If it works, the ego keeps doing the same thing. It keeps feeding us more. It says, oh, you like that thought? You fed that thought? You energetically gave energy to that thought? Let me give you more of the same thoughts and more of the same thoughts. And so we're stuck. But when the ego says, oh, pile one didn't really care about that so much, I guess it's not a concern. I guess it's not a life-death situation. I guess it's just, you know, and that's the ego death. It no longer tries to dictate and narrate. And so the anxiety and the noise sort of lowers down. Page of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so the mind again. We need to understand, you know, or maybe the early stages, like I said, for a lot of you guys, of this process. And so it makes sense, especially with the magician, because it's like the unseen to the seen, you know, like what's going on in the mystery world, in the intuition, and the spiritual world, and the realms that I cannot see in the 3D. And so the mind needs to understand, or put a narration or a story to it. And there's so much we don't see or understand about this world, because it's just a knowing from within, you know, and a connecting to divine. And so we start to flood ourselves with information about, you know, like past lives, and yeah, just the mystic and the occult, and all of this sort of stuff starts to flow through. But we don't need to sort of put a logical answer to all of it, but I feel for some of you guys, you don't understand maybe yet why this has happened, or why you're going through this, or what exactly is happening. And Spirit is showing this maybe impatience in trying to make sense of it, but you're aligning yourself to be of service, to give of self in a way here. Okay, but you have to sort of be there for self. And to be there for yourself right now is to get out of mind. Not to be in mind. Allow this process to happen without judgment. Get grounded. Hangman in reverse. Yeah, we're stuck in some sort of understanding. You know, we're seeing it from maybe the matrix view, or a way that we've always seen it. A way that we've always sort of seen it. And so this is a card of enlightenment and seeing things completely different than we've been shown or taught or understood when it's in the upright. And in the reverse, it's like we're still very have our blinders on. And I think the blinder, though, is about we're trying to use the old way of thinking, the matrix world and the programming, to make sense of something here that I think we can't make sense of. And we shouldn't necessarily make logical sense. We just need to get grounded and understand there's a shift, and that the great divine has a purpose for you that you might not see, that might not make any logical sense at all whatsoever. And it's okay. Okay, the matrix mind wants to put a story to it. So I feel the divine only comes in here working with us in a way that makes us feel liberated and good and sort of grounded, when we don't resist, when we don't try to force our will and way of understanding, and we allow it to do what it does without judgment. So we have the Knight of Swords, more sword energy. So we might be resisting, but I feel like this is the warrior. I feel like you're being given the ability here to confront what you're needing to, but I think we're using the mind, and Spirit's saying it's not going to come from mind. It's not going to come from the mind at all. The world, we're concluding a major cycle in our world, wrapping up the old self in order for the new self to be birthed. This is the incubation period. So I feel like the dark night of the soul you're experiencing here is the groundwork foundation for the new self that's going to provide service to those around you. You know, it doesn't have to mean, like I said, that you're in a community here of you know, I don't know, tarot reading or providing any sort of spiritual teaching, so much as the people around you that are going to be looking up to you in this new energy. Once you sort of gain all the inner experience and understanding that you need in order to close this out, so you could be of service here to other people. Okay, the Tower in reverse. So we still haven't let the illusion fall, because I think the mind's still trying to understand or upkeep some false narrative here, okay? And this is the false self, the story we told self, the thing we built in the 3D world. It can't fall just yet, and that means we're still attached to some part of our world. And as long as we're attached, we can't close the chapter. But through time, the tower starts to fall. And I feel like right now, the only person keeping the illusion alive is our own mind, and the anxiety about what if the illusion falls, you know? And so we have to allow towers to fall. Even if this means I'm not sure what's going to happen when the tower falls, because I'm really left with, I'm not sure. Okay, and that's an uncomfortable place to be. It's called the void. But what is there is the ray of sun. It is always there. And so when the particles sort of get cleared away, the programming, and we see it, this is the falling of the tower, and we're left with the beautiful ray of sun that we have to get acclimated and sort of start to welcome and understand it differently than we have in the past. And this takes process. This takes time. We cannot rush this process. Here's the 5 wands, the inner conflict I feel here, and even maybe creating conflict in our outer world, because the outer world isn't matching. It's still, the outer world is still not aligned, you know, because we're still trying to fight through understanding what that looks like. And so I think there's a lot of resistance here coming from mind. So this is sort of guiding you as to why you feel the way you feel. And so now let's see, if we sort of detach from the mind here. What can you expect here, beautiful pile one? I know this reading is quite long, but I feel I want to dedicate myself to your journey here in this beautiful experience. But let's ask Spirit then for pile one. Is there anything further here in regards to if they're able to detach from this mind, allow this sort of journey to shift? What can they expect here? Seven of Swords in the reverse. The mask falls. The inauthentic self falls. This is the thief returning the swords. This is us having deceit. You know, this is the mask, and this is the falling of the tower. So, okay, so we're now left with an honest truth. We're now left with an honest truth. Okay. The mask falls. The matrix falls. The self here that was suppressed or hidden from the world is now revealed. The Eight of Wands in reverse. So there's a stuckness here in expression, okay, with the root throat chakra and the peacock. And the wands is all about us communicating and expressing. There's a block here in the ability for us to communicate an authenticity and have movement and a breakthrough and move on and expand here and move forward in our world until we sort of deal with the falling away of the false. And so I feel like this is what's going to happen. You know, this is what's going to happen. Wherever you have blocks, wherever you're incapable of having movement in your world, and this is just quick movement. You know, we were sort of blocked. But I feel like this is also saying once the mask drops, things will move very, very, very fast. You know, because this could be like really almost too fast. And so we might feel like the world is sort of going very quickly. And so this is why we're keeping up the tower. We're not sure. Like we just feel out of control with the Eight of Wands, you know, and in reverse, out of control here. Five Cups. Here's mourning. Mourning the past, feeling sad, looking at things that didn't work. But this is a process we go through emotionally when we go through. And then the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a stuckness, okay? This is a stuckness, and this could be, what am I supposed to be contributing to, being of service to, dedicating myself to? I don't know. It's stuck. It's blocked. We can't find that true purpose of where we want to energetically engage until, like I said, we mourn, go through the grieving process, know our truest self, let the mask fall, which takes time. So a lot of you guys feel stuck, might be pressure on wanting to get there already, want to know the purpose. And Spirit is saying like why it's taking time is because you need to do the grieving process here. And this is going to take time until the full truth comes. You know? Here's the Fool, which we were missing at the beginning, trusting the universe, Aquarius energy, and the King of Pentacles, building your empire, getting grounded. Stability here, committing yourself to something that you build over time. So this is a storyline here, okay? What I see here is it's going to take time for you to get to know your truest self. And the only way to do this is to allow the programming and the false self to fall away and let it take as much time as it needs without resistance and getting in the way and making judgment. Here you sit, mourning what you need to, making peace with what you can, allowing yourself, you know, to do what you need to do. But we don't have to look at this as a process of, you know, like forever seeing this past as something that, I don't know, that, you know, like we don't need to sit 5 cups here for very long. When we know what this is actually doing, we welcome the new here. And so we might be really hung up on detaching, you know, like the things we're attached to. It hurts, and so we sit here and we sit here and we feel like the longer we sit here, the more we're sort of hanging on to that thing and that story that we told self. But we need to make peace with, okay, I got to surrender. I got to allow what is and what's happened so I could see my truest self. Because right now we're stuck and we don't know what to move towards, create. And so there's a block here, and I feel like it will happen quickly once we see the truest self. And this is, I can trust the divine. I can step forward not knowing where I'm leaping into or what's going to happen, because you're actually over time going to build this stability. and get very grounded, build your empire here. Something that I think is going to be financially abundant for you. And I think structurally, I think is going to be your cornerstone, your foundation. What you provide service to is going to over time reward you with getting you very grounded and stable here, okay, for your future. What's in the bottom of the deck? Queen of Cups. Yeah, beautiful. This is all about the intuition, all about the creativity, all about loving from a heart space, which we were getting from here. Was it from here or from here? I don't know. Somewhere I was talking about the heart space. Oh yeah, it was here. This stone appears when you're ready for spiritual transformation and takes you to the depths of who you are and feeling deeper awareness so that you can become a leader of your own life. And regal in all forms, lapis lazuli was most prized and sought after in ancient Egypt when it was believed to have powers of immortality and the ability to expand the heart's capacity for love. Okay, so you might want to get a lapis lazuli and a rhodonite to help you in your transformation, but beautiful, loving Queen of Cups. Okay, very compassionate from the heart space, creating out of love, beauty. Okay, so this is also Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, beautiful souls. I love you so, so much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, hello, beautiful pile number 2. I'm absolutely blessed to be here doing your reading. We're looking at how you're feeling and the honest truth in regards to why you feel the way you feel. Okay, so if you skip the intro, I did do a trigger warning because of the fact that sometimes we tuck things in the shadow in our subconscious for a very good reason. Either in the past, it was too traumatic to look at, and so it stayed in the shadow, and now there's, like a PTSD or triggering of whatever that is that we don't see, hence shadow within self, okay? And so we may or may not be prepared to hear or see what's in the shadow for a good reason. So this messaging is always intended to provide healing for those of you guys knowing you're on this healing journey and really wanting to tap into whatever this is, okay? But don't force it to fit. If you're not ready, you're not ready. And if it's not your message, not your message. This is solely to provide healing for those knowing we're connecting to something within self here that's we want to tap into, okay? So I ask Spirit to provide us with how you're feeling and the honest truth in regards to what's actually going on or why you're feeling how you're feeling. And it might provide validation, might provide some clarity in the shadow. Whatever we'll see here, I do intend on communicating this as respectfully and as gracefully as I can. Okay, but definitely up to you to connect with Spirit and see, to use your intuition, what you will see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your message or not, okay? So here we have the card that you selected, and we will be reading it, and same with the stone. We'll be reading it here and see what we first tap into. But to me, I'm seeing 2 people, which they look like they're a pairing here in the 2 birds, the black and the white, masculine, feminine. This could be about relationship with another, a partnership here, but let's see what's going on here. So this stone is lepidocrocite, open heart, grounded, teacher. Oh my goodness, these energies were totally coming through for pile 1. Definitely open-hearted, grounded, and teacher all sort of pulled through. So practical and methodical, lepidocrocite approaches spirituality in a tangible way. Grounding practices back to earth while staying connected to source energy, a great crystal for teachers or anyone who wishes to pass down spiritual teachings. Oh my goodness, beautiful. Lepidocrocite values tradition and educates without judgment, sharing wisdom for humanity's highest good. Lepidocrocite helps with committing to your life's purpose, staying focused on the tasks at hand, and taking action in order to make progress. Each day, you're 1 step closer to your dreams. Sagittarius and Earth. Earth energy is Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. You guys, I am about to just completely, is like cry. I know it's with these crying messages, but this is so connected to pile 1. If you haven't seen pile 1, that might be a passing sort of energy. This might be a little more evolved here, and I hope 1 can come here because I felt some of you guys might have tapped to 1, or might be in a transition from 1 to here for whatever reason, but this is sort of where I was feeling pile 1 sort of going towards. It's really us having gone through some sort of spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, knowing thyself, and then now it's like we're sort of walking into our purpose, you know, being of service to others, like handing down the information of this experience to those in need in some way here, you know, or just being of service. But I feel like there is a partnership here. There is something about, and this could be just your masculine, feminine coming into union of self, being very balanced, coming in grounded so that you can follow in your life's purpose here. Okay. But I feel with Sagittarius, it's an aim of purpose and we might see it. And so now we're sort of trying to get there and maybe we don't see it. And so there's frustration here and where the aim is. But either which way, I feel like there's been a whole bunch of things sort of leading up to this that we're not seeing. That might be in pile 1. Okay, that might be helpful actually for some of you guys who might be needing to navigate that. But let's see. 11. Wow, 11's a master number. It's about divine inspiration. Okay, being divinely inspired to do something, synchronicities and the encouragement to keep going. Affirmation: I am my own friend, my own best friend, and magnetize other loving friendships. So I am my own best friend. I feel like this is talking about self-union, getting balanced, masculine, feminine, but I do feel as though this is also talking about the right people around you, the right relationships, right partnership. Okay, whether it be in love or in business or aligning with your soul tribe. But I feel like there's a soul mission here going on here. And so I'm not quite sure how you're feeling just yet, but we're going to see. Okay, we're going to see. And look at that beautiful stone. So it's called lepidocrocite, open heart. Wow, I think your heart has been open here. And it could have been open due to a loving relationship, you know, but I feel like the heart has been open. And so not for you. Number 6. 6 is the lovers. And we have a fortune cookie. And this is nope. So we'll see, not for you. Are we feeling like something is out of alignment right now? Maybe a partnership not working or something doesn't feel right. Misaligned. Connecting to our future. There's something about a fated destiny here I'm getting. Surrender fear. Let go of the fear stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment, focus on solutions, and celebrate every baby step forward. Okay, fear. Anytime we feel the need to control something or the outcome, you know, it's most likely stemmed from fear. Okay, so if we feel like we're out of control or we don't have control and we need to control something like this, it is stemmed from some form of fear. Okay, not for all of you guys, but again, in the shadow, we sometimes have a very difficult time seeing our own shadow. You know, we might not understand sometimes when things are stemmed from fear or why we're doing what we're doing. So this is why I say if we feel like we're under control, why are we needing control? Is it fear? So just I'm playing devil's advocate for us to sort of uncover every stone here. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Okay, so we know when we're in fear, we're not living from heart space. When we are resentful or angry, we know we're not living from heart space. We know if we feel sad or upset or something like this, which we're allowed to feel, it means our thoughts are aligned with an untruth. Okay, and our emotions are sort of sitting there. And so you might want to go watch pile 1, but I feel like there's something going on here with a partnership that feels misaligned here. Because there might be some energy here that within self we're not sort of connecting to or seeing yet. Resolution. Whatever it is that you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. We have the crossroads, which is giving me the 6, the lovers. This or that, the fated destiny, the path we're supposed to be on, a choice, surrender. You're being asked to let go of your need to control each part of your life and surrender to the universe. Control is an illusion caused by fear, and it's exhausting to try to hold on. Let it go. Allow yourself to enjoy the relief that comes from doing so. So I know when we are on this journey and we hear surrender and let go and the outcome is very difficult for us to wrap our minds around. Okay, but I feel we're going to dig deeper into this without me repeating myself here with something that is going on that I think is going to be liberating once we sort of sit with that energy. But you might want to go watch one, is all I can say, if you want to, of course. Look at this. Oh my goodness, you guys. Universal love, 44. 44 is a master number. This is integrity as a foundation. Okay, treating the earth as home and a temple. This is all about manifestation, leadership. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other and to our planet and to the whole as existence itself, of existence itself. Wowzers. So 4-4 is 8. 8's about strength, movement, change, attainments. Also star energy. Star is a vision of what we want. A vision, an aim. Okay. Disillusion. Intention without surrender can be a fast path to disillusion. Okay. Some sort of belief that it might be not necessarily helping us at this point. So we have determination, beautiful yellow ray, all about the solar plexus, confidence. Okay, and then we have mystery with the 2 again. So 2s giving me partnership, balance, duality, choices. And mystery, which I always get from the purple. The mystery is the high priestess energy. What's unseen here. Pisces energy. Okay, and then red with the anger, root chakra stuff. Okay, so we have moon and Neptune with 18. So this is giving me disillusion with the Neptune and moon energy. Okay, moon could be seeing things that aren't quite there so much, or what we want to see, or there's a need to sort of come into some greater truth of awareness here. So this pile might not be the easiest to listen to, I feel here, okay? But we'll get there. We'll get there. Retrograde, yeah, review. 15 or the number 6 pulling through again. 15 is devil energy, Capricorn, something unhealthy here about what's happening, toxic in some way, or just an unhealthy way of being that holds us back. 6 is lovers. So I feel there's a choice we can make here that we might feel we don't have this choice in front of us. We have unique gifts. Look at this. Definitely tied to 1. I feel you are. A beautiful being with potentially psychic gifts here, okay? Something about your own ability to connect to the divine here is very beautiful, and maybe we're not aware of our unique gifts just yet. Number 5, challenging number here, 5, because it talks about, you know, conflict. But through this conflict and loss is when we start to change and we rebuild ourselves. So the bat is sometimes seeing things differently here. I feel it's giving me hangman energy. I feel like we're fixed in a way that we're seeing something. And so there's a need to come to a different perception. Okay, and it doesn't mean your way of seeing it is wrong. It just means a different perception can give you a different outcome that might allow things to rebuild, for there to be a resolution. A rebirth is assured. Beautiful. And 59, starfish spirit, open to infinite possibility. Okay, so starfish sometimes to me could be the energy of what we're putting out there, of how we want to be perceived, you know, or how we want to be accepted, or how we want to be accepted by others or be perceived by others. Number 14, or the number 5 pulling through again, but 14 is temperance energy, is about finding the balance here, you know. And I'm getting again the 2s, the masculine, the feminine, the balance of self. I don't know if this is behind pile 1 or in front of pile 1, if I got to be honest. And I mean, not that anyone needs to be behind and in front, but this might be triggering you to go into pile 1 energy. Could be. Or it could be the other way around. I don't know. I don't want to judge it, but I feel like there's something massive happening here in which a rebirth is assured, which might trigger some sort of spiritual awakening, despondence. Okay, so I'm going to sit with this energy, although, again, big fat caveat here. If you're not prepared for this message or it doesn't resonate, don't force it. If it doesn't make sense, not for you. Okay? There's nothing here that's telling you must listen or that this is your message. Okay. Not for you. Okay, this messaging is very sort of clear, but it's really, 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 really difficult one to accept, and very, very, very difficult for me to deliver, because I know this isn't the easiest message to hear, and I've got this in a few of my readings already here. And I know you're still here listening, and so bless those of you guys knowing where you sit. But this isn't everyone's message. This might just be one person here, okay? And so how I deliver this is specifically for this person, not you specifically. Okay, so let's be kind to everyone here that might need to hear it differently, but take what resonates here, okay? Because this is difficult for me to deliver this. So I feel like you might want to go watch pile 1, because this might be triggering you into some sort of greater spiritual awareness. And if you've already gone through 1, you might be here now, okay? I feel there's a connection with someone, an idea. Now, if it's not with a romantic, intimate partner, it's some circumstance here that's going on in your world that I think you are a little bit in an illusion of. And the illusion here isn't you are in some la fantasy here, that is passing judgment here, that you're I don't know, that you're I don't want you to judge yourself, okay? But the illusion that you're in here is in the fact that you don't have a true beauty from within you that doesn't need to be in this situation or this circumstance that you have around you. And so I feel like there is your actions in this connection. I'll call it a connection, because for a lot of you guys, it's a connection with someone that's not going well. And so we're acting out of fear. Okay, we're acting out of fear. We might not see it as fear because we're disguising it as something else. We might disguise it as empowerment. We might disguise it as a boundary. We might disguise it as this person's deserving of this. We might disguise it as I deserve the best. Okay? This is how we disguise it. And yes, of course we deserve the best, but we all do. But when we feel that we need to have someone else give us what we think we deserve, then we're already in illusion, because nobody owes you anything. You have the power from within you to give to you what you deserve. So when we get upset, when we create a boundary because this person is not treating me the way I deserve, they better come to me right. They better come to me right. What do you mean? What does that mean? That's ego. Okay? You know, when you feel like you, okay, and I'm not blaming you, and it's coming through passionately like this so we can get through to the core of this. When you feel like outside person, place, thing is going to bring to you a feeling, we're outwardly trying to seek. And if it's not from this situation, it's going to be from another one and another one and another one. So this person I'm reading is specifically being taught this lesson here because we're undoing this sort of karmic belief, egoic thinking, so we don't keep perpetuating this thing, that a connection is going to have to do all these things in order to make me feel a certain way. And this doesn't mean we settle or we put up with relationships that don't. This just means then I won't be in any relationship that doesn't make me feel a certain way. But I can recognize here that what I'm seeking is something I haven't yet found in self. So now when we shed that baggage, we're now left with the true core of who we are. And we're now accepting of people maybe we weren't in the past. And it's not because we're settling. It's because we see past illusions. We see past their ego, their suffering. And so our heart opens up and we could find kindness. Now, when we found a threat, this person's doing all these things that are triggering me. Meanwhile, this person could do all these things in another connection and that other person be totally fine. It's not demeaning. It's not devaluing. They're coming correct for that person because that person isn't traumatized with the same baggage. So our baggage, our trauma, and I'm not victim blaming. Everyone has their trauma. I'm just saying it's all a different bag. Okay, and you're valid. If you have traumas and things that have happened to you, it's all super valid. But the only way to heal the trauma, the baggage, and the thing without getting fired up and triggered is to recognize it in self and to work with it so we release the trauma and then say, what is real here? And maybe that person is a big douchebag. I don't know. Okay? Maybe they're not. But it is making us turn back to self so we could see all the trauma, because I feel like your actions in this connection is stemmed by anger. And you can say, I'm not mad. Okay, but if we're saying I'm empowered to get what I want, or this person is having to do this, that, and that, then this is stemmed by a fear reaction. Okay, because we know when we don't fear, we just say this person can be who they are, and either it's going to match me or not. But I'm totally indifferent because I feel the same way I feel inside, because I've connected to my true authentic self that doesn't need someone to be or come correct or do anything different. I can't change how people are. They can come however they come, and it's not going to pull out of me different things. Okay, it doesn't pull different things out of me unless I let it. And so I got to be very aware. What's it pulling out of me? Is it pulling out of me an anger? Is it pulling out of me a threat? Is it pulling out of me a need to control? Is it pulling out of me a judgment? Is it pulling out of me something? So I feel like this forgiveness isn't necessarily saying, forgive this person for being a douchebag, because I feel this person did treat you unfairly. They did. Absolutely. Okay? I'm not going to say that they didn't. But when we forgive, that past the point that people are in darkness, people have ego, people will act how they act. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't rock our core. So we look past this and we say, I could see this person for who they are, and I forgive that they have shadows, that they weren't necessarily doing this to be malicious to me so much as, even though it might have been harmful to me on the outside, I now see it as that person was in shadow. And so now I know my boundary. And now I know, now I know that I can see the beauty from within me that doesn't need anything from this person to be anything different. But this happens with us reviewing our own sort of actions. So we have to be very honest. How am I acting right here? Am I triggered? Am I saying things here that are masked up? Really, but there's fear behind this. And it's shadow for a reason, because it is, the ego is very good. It disguises this as a way of us thinking, okay, like this makes me feel, and if it makes you feel empowered, then okay, great. But what I'm saying is we'll forever have the mask on, and it'll always be about other people and what they do in the moment, and we'll always be triggered in that sort of situation if that ever comes about again. So there's a need for an acceptance of something here, okay, of our own self. And this is painful, with this disillusion, because we want to believe what we attached our mind to, the story we attached to, but that's not necessarily the truth. Okay, now side note, I feel like when you do this, for those of you guys that I'm really reading for, like really connected to here, a spiritual connection, I feel like we've now transcended a part of the egoic self that's understanding, opening heart space, unconditional love. That's going to align us with our spiritual partner here. That's going to find a resolution. Okay, now if it's not with this specific person, which I feel for a lot of you guys, it most likely is. We just can't see past ourselves. But if it's not this person, then it's our own sort of soul person. There's a resolution here. So the surrendering process, we're still hanging on to the idea, concept that we are right in this belief, and I don't know, maybe, there's a lot of beliefs we can have, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, are we suffering? Have we opened up the heart space here? Do we know, like intuitively, there's something deeper and more of some sort of suffering, and I feel like we can't break out of this. We can't break out of this until we recognize this thing, and this is really the shedding of the egoic self, having unconditional love, and unconditional love for everyone, including self. So if someone else is in shadow, doesn't come correct, does all this stuff, it shouldn't impact us the way it does. Okay? It shouldn't. And if it does, we just look at self. And that's not saying we caused it. That's saying, how am I reacting right now? Am I putting in place the proper sort of boundaries that make sense? Or is this stemmed from a fear? Is this stemmed from wanting a certain outcome? Is this me running away from something that I still need to look at? And once I look at this thing, and now that person acts the way they did, it's like, like I used to be threatened by this, but it means something else. Or I used to be threatened by this and now I'm not, but I just see, that person's in shadow, and I send them love and I carry on my way. But it doesn't emotionally charge me in a way here that's just like creating this energetic charge here. Okay, so it's a process, because I feel like when we go through this and we see ourselves with the big magnifying glass, we start to forgive them, ourselves, we surrender, we find peace and love, we see the joy in everything and everyone, and it depolarizes the energy of fear. You know, we're shattering the illusion we had that it's them creating some sort of projection to me that I need to validate or support or see myself in a different way here. Okay, and so I feel like you're being reborn here in an energy that is shedding fears and egos. Okay, but I feel like the biggest thing here is the illusion we have of some sort of way we're seeing it, because it feels like it's helping us. And if it helps you, that's fine. Then maybe this isn't your reading. If you really truly feel helped and it's helping you and you're freed and you're perfect, and I love that, good. This is what it's supposed to do. Heal and be perfect. I feel I'm reading for we can't move on because it keeps bringing it into our face, this need to deal with this karmic way of being, or this need to tap into unconditional love and open the heart space, because the heart space still then has not been yet open. So what happens after this? Then I feel like there is this purposeful thing you're supposed to be doing here in the world. You know, like this is all about us aligning with our soul purpose. And it could be, you know, that specific person that we're supposed to be aligned with. And I say supposed to because, again, I felt something very fated, very destined. Our life purpose, our path, our person, our thing needs to be created, but only when it's the right sort of alchemical happenings here and the ego sheds away. You know, this is, again, like I said, the story that we need to attain something or appear in some way here to get what we want in some way. But I feel like with the teacher, there's this lesson, you know, this lesson of experience that we've gone through here. And so I feel like there is going to be a resolution in something that's very difficult right now. I don't feel like you experienced it very well. And I don't know where you sit energetically. Maybe we're angry still. And again, I'm not angry, but I say angry. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. Whatever. Maybe we're in ego still. Okay, that I call anger, because the ego is trying to justify something. So as long as we have ego, we get the block in the way. Okay, so we're going to pull some tarot and see then what we need to see here. Beautiful pile number 2. And like I said, not going to be everyone's message. So let's see, what does pile 2 need to know in regards to how they're feeling and what they need to know. And we got 5 swords. I'm not surprised to see 5 swords, because that's the card of people not necessarily getting along if they're sort of sabotaging or doing something that is like self-sabotage or just behaving in certain ways. But I feel in this case, there's 5 swords on 2 sides here. I don't feel there's an innocent and a guilty here, okay? Because as long as we see an innocent and a guilty, there's still need for forgiveness. As long as we see an innocent and a guilty, then there is duality. As long as we see an innocent and a guilty, we're still in ego. And this is caused by 3 swords that we need to look at. Trauma and self. Okay? And get honest with some truth here. We're the ones potentially in 5 swords, not the other way around, even though the other person could be or not be, but we're 5 swords, I feel. Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy, and this one is pregnant. There's something you're supposed to be birthing here. Absolutely. Okay. King of Pentacles in reverse. So we have, again, the divine counterparts here. Feminine and masculine energy. Okay, now this King of Pentacles is in reverse. I feel as though the only way we can sort of really stabilize, ground ourselves, find the balance between the masculine and the feminine, the union, the coming together, something in regards to the masculine energy being off kilter is what I feel here. Okay, and masculine energy is more of the doer energy, you know, and the type that sort of feels like it's in control of its own sort of destiny here. And so I feel like we might be needing to really take a look at where's our masculine energy sitting. Are we allowing the feminine energy here, the receptive energy, the unconditional love to kind of flow here? Okay, where's our masculine energy sitting? Because I feel like there's going to be stability here that you can create. And until we see how our own energy is impacting a situation, we still remain 5 swords. A situation remains 5 swords. Nobody's happy. Nobody wins. There's no resolution when there's 5 swords. So there's a need to come to terms with an honest truth. So the world in reverse, yeah, like it's going to only close out when we accept and we see and close this chapter so we can have a rebirth is assured. So we might feel we still need closure, you know, and the only closure, maybe we don't even need to involve this person at all, but we need closure, and closure is understanding this belief of our own energy, so we could close it out and say, yeah, I found closure with or without this person, that I am whole and complete here, that I don't need someone to do this or to do that, you know, that I forgive what's gone on here. Queen of Cups in reverse, need for compassion, need to open up the heart space, connect with that heart space. And I feel like that creation that I was saying that you're being put to is at a block here until we understand and put an end to something here. Yeah, the creative thing here. So aside from all this, with this connection, which I feel is integrated into what you're supposed to be creating, by the way, is at a block because we're still opening heart space, understanding certain concepts, shedding certain egos, still in 5 swords in some way, maybe not recognizing, because there's a need to see our own 5 swords, you know, to balance our own masculine, feminine energy, to open up our heart space, and then to create something here that we feel we can create, but we're too much still resolving and coming to terms with something in order to close it out so we could start anew. So the heart space can be open, and this could take some time. As long as we're outwardly sort of an outward energy, and we're not going in, being honest and forgiving and seeing parts in self and doing that retrograde review, we could certainly be in this energy for quite some time. Okay, but we can close it and prepare for the new, because there is an infinite amount of possibility here on the table that we can't quite get to yet. 2 Pentacles, the choice is yours. This is the duality again. Okay, and we could be up and down. We could have one belief 1 minute and one belief the next. And as long as we're not in the heart space, we'll always sort of feel this 2 Pentacles. Because fear, mind pulls us in one, and then the next we're feeling this, and we're always in this turbulent energy. So in order to get grounded, to know that what we're doing is from heart space, it gives us comfort here, and the choice is ours. How we choose to see things, what we choose to do. Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is based on experience and understanding, getting clear, getting certain. Queen of Swords is also someone who acts out of mind rather than out of heart. So I feel like we're really turbulent right now because we're asking about your feelings. We're turbulent. We might be up and down. We might have different beliefs. We might be going back and forth. And the reason being, I feel, is because the mind is steering, because it makes logical sense, when what you're experiencing here is spiritual and of the heart. And we can't make sense of the heart. So, unconditional love, feeling of the heart, makes no sense to the mind. And so we keep leaning back to the mind, saying, but this makes sense. And meanwhile, we're having this spiritual transformation. Your heart is opening. And it feels very uncomfortable here, because we keep sort of going back to this, trying to make sense, you know, and this, to me, Queen Swords is giving me this anger. Like I keep saying anger, but I know it's not, but it's the mind, because the mind is trying to validate to something. Okay, trying to validate to something, and it's driving our emotions and our actions. Meanwhile, our actions aren't based on the this of the love. Okay, so you do what you want, but I'm just reading cards here, and this is what I have for you guys. Beautiful pile number 2. This isn't an easy lesson, but I do feel as though you guys are well on your way. If you see this and understand it, and we're just still trying to find it, that's okay. You know, don't feel like this other person, or you have to do something with this person. No, this is all about you. All about you finding you, your own grounding, seeing yourself, being honest with self, you know, and Divine's not going to lie to you and say that what you have from within is everything you need. Of course, everything you need is from within. This is a great honest truth here. Okay, we might not believe it or see it, know how to get there. And so the mind keeps coming in there, because what we're seeing is something different. Okay, but that's only because the mind is playing tricks on us. When we connect to the heart, we know it's a truth. We don't need to be explained. We know, we feel it in our depths because we connected with the heart. We know we're whole, complete. No one can rock us. No one makes us angry. I mean, we're human, of course, but we know when we're angry, triggered. It's ego. Okay? So, beautiful pile 2, this is your reading. I love you so, so much. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, hello. Pile number 3, gorgeous angels. You guys picked this stone right here and this card right here, which we'll read shortly, to tap into what this is sort of all about. And what are we looking at? Well, I did a trigger warning at the beginning of the video because sometimes it's difficult for us to hear certain messages when we are on the healing journey of self. Okay, so what this video is intended to do is look at your feelings and understand why we feel the way we feel from an objective truth. Okay, and this could support what you already know. This could validate a lot for you, or this could be revealing some sort of shadow self that we aren't connected to, and it's in the shadow for a reason. So it's in the shadow, we don't see it, it's our subconscious. We've tucked it in there because it was too heavy to carry to see, okay? And there's a reason why we do this, because it's difficult for us to look at that time. And so sometimes prying that open isn't the right time. So if you don't feel it's the right time, or it's too painful, or or of course if it doesn't resonate, then it's not your message, then maybe not your reading. Okay, this is very specific for those on a healing journey, taking a look at self, trying to work with self, and being very open to, if it resonates, saying, hey, this could be something in my shadow that I can see or that I'm working with here. Okay, it's only confirming and validating. This isn't going to be something that should make you completely upside down in your world. Okay, so use your own intuition, what you will see, feel, or hear, and I promise to always deliver what I see here. It's always intended to provide healing. Okay, so let's look, and we'll lay these cards out, which will give you an opportunity to use your intuition. But what am I tapped into here? Well, I don't really get a whole lot from just this, so we'll read the back and see what we get. Although I'm feeling a very solo sort of energy here. Let's see. So, the Stone of Cat's Eye, agility, intuition, and protection, evoking the bright eyes of a cat. Cat's eye is used as a talisman to ward off and protect against any evil or unseen danger coming your way. It increases agility, allowing you to fly beneath the radar of your enemies and progress ahead of your competitors. Cat's eye enhances night vision, giving you the ability to see through the shadows and the higher definition of access heightened levels of intuition by opening the crown chakra. Cat's eye is regenerative, helping you to gain what was once lost. We have Leo and Venus. Venus is the ruling planet for Taurus and Libra. Wow, okay, this is quite powerful energy, and we see this I don't know, looks like a Japanese sort of warrior here. It says, the Emperor, 22, affirmation, I am worthy of respect because I am respectful of all. Oh my goodness, 22 is a master number. Okay, this is about the peacemaker, diplomacy. It's about healthy, energetic boundaries, and also it's about the divinely guided relationships. We see a butterfly, all about transformation, liberation. Emperor energy, divine masculine, agility, intuition, protection. Let's see. I don't know what I'm getting so far here about what you're feeling and what's going on. Now, I do want to put a caveat with this one. If we have very strong energy around us, it could be tapped into someone around you, not necessarily your feelings here, okay? This could be someone else's feelings. I don't know. Let's see. There's a reason why this might be coming through this way. So we have regeneration. We are feeling with the butterfly for sure, 46. So number 10, which is that transformation, the butterfly energy, death energy, regrowth. Okay, surrender to inner peace. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in quiet meditative moments. Focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Wow, okay. Spiritual internal revelation here. Fear, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Wow, okay. And we have create. You're being asked to connect with your creative side in whatever way feels best. This part of you needs extra attention right now. It needs to be expressed in a bigger way. Okay, this energy I feel is pulled through in my last few readings. Let's see. Pivot. Sometimes when things aren't falling into place after trying and trying, it's time to ask yourself if pivoting in some way would be a good idea so that your life can flow more easily and effortlessly. How could you pivot even just a little bit? Change. 12. Number 3. 3 is about growth, relationships coming through again, initial success. Okay, it's also Empress, which is receiving, giving love, Hangman, working with the divine, maybe seeing the way we see things a little differently. It's also World, closing out cycles, massive transformation. My cat is scratching. I'm going to let him in a bit. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. I'm going to let him in. I'll be right back, okay? Okay, beautiful people. You might scratch to want to go out after, but we'll see. He's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. So we have your path. Dear Lord, help me trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see through my fears and illusions. Okay. And we have surrender. Wowzers. I think all 3 piles got a card of surrender, which is absolutely beautiful. And sometimes we got to learn the difference between surrender and giving up here. Surrendering is allowing ourselves to sort of work with the universe in a way that isn't out of fear. You know, we're not trying to control, or us not sort of hanging on, resisting, allowing what is sort of to be, and trusting. We have illumination. This is all about it's giving me Hangman energy, you know, although it is sun energy, divine masculine, but Hangman because it's working with the divine to see things coming to light, different understandings. That maybe we're in the shadow that we're now starting to see, but maybe there's fear in taking action because the change is too great here. Hunger, more yellow energy, the confidence with the solar plexus energy, the desire here. Okay, and we have Jupiter and Uranus. 17, is that 17? No, 47, I'm sorry. And number 11, reduced. So 11 pulling through as, again, divine inspiration. This is also the encouragement to keep going, but I think 17 was coming through as star. So for those of you guys who saw my last 2 collective readings, I really feel this is the same energy here. And it could be an energy around you or your own energy. Okay, there's divine masculine energy sort of pulling through here, and I feel like those 2 collectives are very tied, and I feel like I was reading for a twin flame, reading 2 energies in both the readings because I watched them both again. And so the front end is one energy, back end is another, and I think it flipped in the second reading. But anyway, if that's beyond your head, that's fine. But 17 kept pulling through as a star, a hope, a wish, a desire here. So you might want to go watch those readings, but I feel like there's some sort of desire, hope here. You know, it's pulling us here, or that a greater understanding, but something else is driving us. Something else, and the something else is the fear. A lack of confidence here. So we have the 8th house with mystery, number 46. Okay, so we have 47 and 46. 46, 47, that's in sequence here. Some sort of step-by-step process. Number 10 pulling through, which again is that transformation. And the 8th house is all about merging, sex, intimacy. Okay, it's also joint ventures, goals. This could be about mystery, partners, resources. The skull's giving me Scorpio energy. And we have Imam Coli with root, 38. Or 11 pulling through again. Wow, lots of 11s here. So 1111 is my twin flame number. So could be on this journey. This could certainly be you or the divine masculine here in this connection. We have root. Could be talking about root chakra. Okay, and sometimes we have a lot of fear stemming from root chakra. So it says treat yourself. Beautiful. And we have Hawk Spirits. Let Spirit be your guide with 32. Or the number 5. 5 is about change. Spirit be your guide. That's beautiful. And then we have victim. So green is all about the heart chakra. And then, of course, victim could be, you know, our mindsets and our beliefs and systems here that keep us sort of in lower vibration. So my cat is just about to jump up here. I'm going to let the cats out, okay? And I'll do your reading. So give me a minute. Okay, I'll let the cats out. Now I'm going to tap into this energy. And you guys can certainly click on the timestamp there if you feel you're wanting to skip. Leo and Venus. Wow, lots of Leo energy pulling through here with the masculine energy. Okay. Pile number 3, this could be energy around you, especially if you're resonating. You're on a twin flame journey, which I've been really tapped into here lately, okay? It could be your divine masculine. It could be you. You're sort of in this energy. But I'm going to read this as you because that's the title of this thing. How you're feeling. I feel you feel almost like there's nothing you can do, you know? And I was tying it back to my collective the other day because I was really tapped into that. So there's nothing I can do. Although I think that's how you feel. But I feel like maybe there's nothing you can do because at this point in time, you feel as though you're understanding and you're connecting to your energy in a way here that it's making you feel sort of helpless and victim. And it's not true necessarily. Like, yes, it's true. Because as long as you're in this energy, there is nothing you can do. I agree. But let's look at your energy. Okay, so if you resonate with this being your energy, then why it is that's going on like this is because I think there's a lot stemming from fear of change. Fear of allowing things to shift towards what you actually want. And you'd say, that's silly, Linda. Of course, if I want something, I'm going to allow it because I want it. Well, that's what's in the shadow here, is if we really, on the inside, don't feel deserving of it, okay, of something we really, really want, or it's something that might seem too good to be true, or it might be something that rocks our world with this Uranus that we don't quite understand, and we're always sort of in charge or in control, and now it's like, uh-oh, there's this energy coming in that it will make me feel sort of almost out of control. And when I say out of control, it's like I might not feel empowered. I might be a fish out of water. I might not know what I'm supposed to do or be. And so I'll just hang on to my old energy, or I'm undeserving of this thing. And whatever the reasoning being, we're hanging on to the familiar instead of allowing ourselves to work with the divine towards what I feel is for you and what I feel you would enjoy. But we don't enjoy it when we're resisting and when we're in fear and when we see all the reasons why it shouldn't happen or can't happen, or we make up stories why we can't and it won't, and why what we're used to and what's familiar makes more sense. But this causes pain because it's a belief story that we're making up here to prop up some sort of belief system that is preventing us from dealing with the fear. And so this feels uncomfortable too when we allow it to sort of come through here as us being the person here who might not know what to do and accept this, who might have to surrender to the universe and appear in a certain way that maybe we don't want to appear, or that we, I don't know, there's fear here in appearing in a way or allowing something to be. And so we try to control it. And so, but I feel like the opposite is happening. We're actually not in control. You know, yes, we're controlling to hang on, but I feel it's an illusion of control, because surrendering to the universe is actually more in a more elevated state of being sort of the master of our own ship by allowing the universe to unfold and then us choosing with awareness which way we want to partake. You know, this speaks of conquering fear. Because, of course, if we don't put ourselves in situations here that allow us to change, push us outside of our comfort zone, we might feel more large and in charge in some way here, or more emperor-like, but this is actually the opposite. You know, because an emperor feels like he has control and dominance, and he has the ability to make an outcome here. You know, and so we feel power. We feel empowered too. But I think it's an illusion of power, because behind this is fear. That when we let the divine, sometimes divine comes through, handing us certain things that have nothing to do under our control. And this is our opportunity to lean into our masculine energy of doing the right thing here and facing courage, okay, because we're being asked to move forward and do certain things, take action in our own life that we're avoiding, suppressing, denying, or making up stories why we cannot. So there is also a need for feminine energy, being receptive, receiving, and knowing that we are worthy of love and giving love. But there's also a need to understand how our masculine energy is in play. And so I feel like we are trying to protect ourselves in some way, you know, and there's nothing wrong with protecting self, but there's nothing to protect self from. The only thing we're trying to protect ourselves from is the fear of change because of the unknown here. And so I feel whatever is pulling to you here, I think is a lot different than what you're used to. But I feel like it is your path and your calling. And instead of going down this, we're resisting, fighting, and hanging on to maybe an old thing. And so we're being asked to allow the change to happen here, even if it is slowly by time. So I feel like we are in some sort of victim energy. And we might be doing things here that keep us in low vibe. You know, like the choices we're making. So we keep choosing the unhealthy thing, or we're choosing the same old that keeps us in an energy that isn't for our highest good, even if it is stretching us outside of our comfort zone. And so Spirit's trying to guide you. And I feel like we're really intertwined into something here. You know, our way of life, our belief, how we were raised, some sort of understanding. We feel very solid, I feel here. But it's an illusion stemmed from fear. Because, yes, it's good to be solid. But I think we created this solidness in an environment that's now shifting, because environments shift all the time. And there's a need to be adaptable. And as things fall off and shift, I feel like whatever we were built on is no longer going to sustain us and our growth. And so the true reflection of us being in our power is surrendering to the universe, doing what's right, taking action when we need to, instead of being too held back or hanging on too tight and resisting the change and the spiritual calling we have here. Because I feel there's a spiritual calling here, your path, okay? And for some of you guys, it could be, like I said, a relationship that might change your world, or creating a family here. And so we like the singlehood. I don't know what the thing is here, but I feel like maybe we're used to doing it alone. Okay, but I feel like you're cracking open here. The divine is cracking you open here into this energy that we don't quite understand. And so there's a need to sort of trust that the universe knows exactly what it's doing, because big blessings are being handed to you. And I think you know what this big blessing is. I think you see it. But I think we don't want to see it. Well, I think I know we're trying to upkeep something that needs to be released, and maybe understanding that there's a blessing here. And so it keeps us in this weird state, because we're neither here nor there. And we might believe we're in control in some way, or we might need control in some way, but that's stemmed from fear always, when we feel we need control. And so we might have the understanding that when we feel secure and safe and stable and grounded, that everything's good and true to a degree. But when we know we're not emotionally happy inside or living, or when a blessing's put in front of us, when we know we're being pulled by the divine for our calling, and we don't take the call of action because we feel we're being stable in some way, I feel like this is stemmed from fear, because we need the control. We need the control, you know? So if we feel we're trying to control an outcome of where we were at, then we're supposed to be asking ourselves, is this really the fear inside me that doesn't want to just let go and let God and let things happen? Because I feel like there's some sort of understanding coming through that we're not connected to yet, or letting it lay the foundation of the new self. Okay, so let's read the tarot and see what pulls through here for pile 3, and see if we can get some more insight for pile 3 spirit. How's pile 3 feeling, and what are they needing to know in regards to the honest truth about their feelings and what's going on here? So I will ask spirits for a clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed and so grateful to be here. So we have Page of Wands. This is young energy, feeling like a novice, but going exploring, not knowing what we will come in contact with, but it's carefree energy, trusting. This is surrendering, you know, this is like, I'm going to go explore the unknown here, allow myself to explore. Devil, so we're held back. There's unhealthy ways of being, and it could be just that we're held back, and so this is unhealthy because it doesn't allow for the exploration and the growth. But this could be us clinging to certain unhealthy things here rather than allowing us to go explore in a new way and doing things different. And so we might feel like there's a legitimate thing holding us back, but the devil is an illusion. There is nothing legitimate holding you back but yourself, your own energy. Capricorn energy, okay, addictions. This could be just really unhealthy patterns, ways of thinking, an unhealthy relationship we have with our current situation that keeps us stuck, doesn't allow for change. It's driving the agenda. Yeah, stuck. 4 Pentacles, comfort zone, held back. I want this thing of how it is, and I don't want it to change, or I feel very stuck to my unhealthy way of being here, and I can't break out. So I cling to it, but it's really because there's discomfort in the unknown, in trusting the divine, and allowing ourselves to not be in some sort of, I don't know, like an illusion of control that we have here, that we need control. I think we're connecting to, I think, masculine energy here in an unhealthy way is what I feel. You know, like I am in control here, or I don't know. Something about how you're connecting to your own energy is actually holding you back. It's the problem here. So we have 9 Pentacles. So again, this is what I was picking up. This is us being completely built our empire in a way here that is single, independent, we're successful, we're ready to enter the world in a way here that is totally capable, and we did it ourselves in some way. In the reverse, there's a dependency, you know, and even if we're single, it's like we're hyper independent on being single. So it's like, I got to be single at all costs here because there's a belief of something here, you know, like hyper independent, like I cannot be in a relationship, so I'm really held back to my singlehood and my belief of something that is untrue because it stemmed from an unhealthy thing here. So I feel more free, but do we really? I feel like there's fear of commitment, fear of being independently single to make ourselves available. And so we hang on to the stories we tell self, or the lifestyle we have that keeps us really chained to something here. 8 Wands in reverse. Yeah, so trouble communicating for one, and we're stuck. So things aren't moving forward. Things could move forward, but they're stuck. And 2 Cups, a relationship. I feel either a relationship has ended, or there's an imbalance in a relationship, or we cannot allow the relationship to happen. We cannot show up in a balanced way, give and take love. We probably can't receive and give love. Now, if you're not in a relationship, it's talking about overall your energy, an inability to connect with another, to be balanced, give and take, to share love, unconditional love from 2 Cups. Can't move forward in a connection. We're stuck because of something that is happening from within us, okay? Knight of Pentacles. So this is the manifestation. This is us being dedicated to something solid here, okay? But Knight of Pentacles, very, very slow, dedicated energy, moving towards the direction of something here. So you might be thinking that you want to move towards something, because I feel like there is a desire here of something to manifest, but I feel we're stuck. Okay, so we really need to look at ourselves honestly as to why we're hanging on to something here. Face our fear of this. There's an inner peace here that we must connect to. Making peace with releasing, making peace with the unknown, making peace with surrendering, making peace with exploration. But we would almost rather not, you know. King of Cups. So are we tapped into our emotions and allowing ourselves to express them? Because I feel there's a lot of deep love here. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. This king loves the deepest, is very emotionally mature, you know, but I feel like when we can't express, when we can't show up, we don't know how to engage with our emotions, and so we suppress it. And the King of Cups has a very difficult time acting on emotions, and so he bottles it up, or he just carries it within him, and it just sits there empty, not going anywhere. So I feel like there's love here, but you're held back. There's love here, but you're not acting on it. There's love here, but we're not exploring it. There's love here, but I'd rather be dependent on the thing here at the cost of keeping this victimhood alive rather than the joy and the blessing that's happening here, because it would require sudden change. 5 of Wands. So we don't want conflict. We don't want to upset our world. I feel with the Uranus, it's too much of a change. It's too much of a thing we don't want to go into, you know. And when I say don't want to, we're really being asked to examine what's stemming the desire that we don't want this, because I feel like we want something. We're convincing ourselves that we're not prepared to fight, or we'd be at conflict, or we'd have to compete. But I feel this is the devil part of us that's trying to keep us in our fear, and it's causing the conflict here. So not everyone needs to be in a relationship, but I feel like there is something here that I feel is blocked. That is really something you're not wanting to acknowledge or address right here, out of fear of change. And deeper than that, you know, because I feel like if I were to ask you, you'd be like, I'm not scared of change. Meanwhile, if we look at your life, if we look at the choices you're making, are they aligned with allowing the blessings in that are around you right now? Or is there a big blessing here in regards to potentially a relationship or a connection or some path, some calling that we're not taking? And we're making stories why we cannot. Or we're using substances or distractions to numb us out, to stay in the void, to not allow the growth, the change, the beauty, to make changes and pivot, to align ourselves with something here that's beautiful for ourselves, to find inner peace rather than hostilities and devils. Because you're being asked to create something here, and I feel it's create something either with another or something in your world that's absolutely beautiful here. Okay, so let's get your final message here. 5 Cups. That's that victim. And look, 10 Swords. So 10 Swords is an ending, painful ending. 5 Cups, looking back in sadness with regret, disappointment at how something turned out, feeling bad, feeling guilty, feeling sad. Ace of Swords, and I do feel it is in reverse. But either which way I read this, it's a need to speak an honest truth and act in alignment with our greater truth that we're not doing in order to have a breakthrough. Because there's something that you could tap into inside yourself that is something you can act and align with, a greater vision of a future here that you're suppressing or not taking action on. And so therefore we can't have movement and we can't have success. And I feel like it's either created an ending or we anticipate that there's some sort of ending here and we're already sort of in this victim sort of energy. Knight of Pentacles, now he's in reverse. Stuck energy. It's kind of giving me the 4 Pentacles, stuck, not allowing the seed to manifest here. King of Swords, it could be in our mind. We might think that it needs to be some sort of understanding or strategy in regards to this transformation. And so in our mind, we want some sort of understanding that might never come, because when we're dealing with emotions, we're not always given the logical, intellectual sort of understanding that might never come. We just have to be very in tune with how we're feeling and learn to trust and surrender to the universe here in order to manifest greatness here. But I feel like we're resisting because of some sort of mind speak that we're having here that's getting in the way of the transformation. But if we're feeling defeated and sad and an opportunity that's lost or hasn't come, then we'll know it's because of our own mind speak, our own victim sort of understanding here of our situation. That doesn't have to be real, but it's creating our reality because we're living in denial or some untruth. Okay, there's the Emperor coming out again. So, Emperor in the upright. This is divine masculine, but coming into divine masculine is not being cowardly, scared, attached to past stories, doing devil things. An Emperor faces what he has to, steps forward, communicates how he feels. An Emperor does all of these things here without fear, without resistance. You know, this is true masculine energy. He's reached the peak. He doesn't hide away or surrender to fear, or give in to fear, I should say. He surrenders to the universe and it works with the divine to feel empowered. Because I feel here there's a lack of confidence. And I don't know, maybe seeing this reading, because I'm reading for two different types of masculine. Some that are overly confident, but it's stemmed from fear. And some that are shitly scared, okay? And it's because we don't have confidence. And if we're shitly scared, it's just a story we're telling ourselves. There's something beautiful about you. There's something beautiful about everyone. But when we don't see it in ourselves, we start to believe the lie, and we start to cling on to the devil we know. So you have beautiful energy here, okay? Lean into your courage, your strength. There's no need for you to tell yourself any other story here. This doesn't require story. This just requires connecting to divine, surrendering, leaning into emotions, and working with the spirit to live a beautiful life here, rather than feeling the way we feel. Only if you feel this way. I mean, if you're happy living a single beautiful life, then that's most likely not your reading. I feel I'm reading for someone who's in devil, who's in victim, who feels sad because something didn't work or can't make something happen, feels blocked, but then is telling themselves something else that's keeping this story up. Aries energy. Okay, and then we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Here's the Empress. Look, Emperor and Empress, divine counterparts. So I feel you feel there's somebody in your world with this divine Empress. And if not, this is your own divine feminine energy pulling through here, okay? That is opening you up for unconditional love. This is a beautiful energy of abundance, giving love, receiving love, being connected to love. You know, like being absolutely open, protecting the great love we have here, finding balance, knowing when I should take action, when I should surrender and be open. But I feel this is a partnership, a union that we're either not working towards, or that we feel sad about that didn't happen, our other partner, or other half, or other self, not taking action. It's resulted in some sort of an ending here. Yeah, because look, blocked emotions now here. And so although we feel love, the block here is in being able to transmute these energies into something that allows for there to be an action and a great truth that we're taking action on. So we're suppressing, you know, or we're denying, or we're more leaning into this sort of energy, mind rather than heart energy. It's like we tell ourselves certain things that are untrue, and so therefore we don't allow just the emotions to speak, regardless if they make any sort of logical sense here. There's a greater inner truth of love that wants to come through here, and we're suppressing, or we're making ourselves emotionally unavailable. And I feel like we need to end this emotionally unavailable, or the suppression of emotions, or the way we're handling our emotions. We need to put an end to this in order to come together to find some sort of balance, or to heal ourselves from some suffering, some sadness, okay, some in denial, something that's stuck, that's not moving. And look, Queen of Swords, and we have King and Queen of Swords. I feel you've met someone that you intellectually connect with here, your other half, cut from the same cloth. Intellectually, I feel there's a deep understanding, a deep love, okay, like your mirror partner here, and potentially she's angry, or she is cold right now, or we don't see how we're supposed to move forward here. And I feel like as long as you're not tapped into your emotions or emotionally available, this person will be in some sort of reverse Queen of Swords. Okay, maybe she's uncertain how you feel. Maybe she needs more clarity. Maybe she's not making herself available and it's ended. But I feel like whatever she's doing here, I feel like is keeping you in some sort of energy you don't like. And it's all about you, because you can take your energy from this King Swords to this King Cups. And regardless of how she's feeling, be open and expressive with how you feel. Provide whatever clarity you need for yourself. I feel this, that, and the other, and here's how I'm going to act. Here's how I'm going to communicate, regardless of how she feels or sees, because I think she can't see or understand or have any sort of vision about what's going on here with you, because you're blocked. And so we need to put an end to emotionally unavailable, or however you're dealing with your emotions right now. Okay, if you want to come together here, and of course this could be just self, in order to balance self, your masculine, your feminine, we need to get clear, honest, open, direct, and tap into something here that I feel we're not. Okay, pile number 3, this is your reading. I love you very much. I hope this resonated for you. If you haven't seen the collective readings, I do feel the last 2 collective readings were in regards to the same energy. I feel I'm reading for twin flames, and you could be on either side. I feel like there's 2 certain types of divine masculines. I feel there's 2 different types of divine feminines. Those maybe that are still angry or bitter, and those maybe who've just surrendered because they don't see a future here, because the divine masculine here could either be in complete ego, where he is totally like in fear, so he's overly appearing confident in some way, and the other divine masculine here that is so deathly scared of taking any sort of action that he's lacking confidence. I feel both are lacking confidence, if I got to be honest, but it's appearing in different ways, but all stemming from the fear. The fear is driving the show. Okay, the fear of change, the fear of whatever is going on here. So this is what I